Hello and welcome to this creative and fiction writing webinar for years 10 and 11. We are looking at how to create exciting plot lines. So I know many students are being told that they have to write a story about something and they don't really know how to make the story exciting or interesting. So hopefully at the end of this webinar, you will feel confident about developing exciting plot lines through using narrative hooks, through using conflict and including dilemma. Now, the first aspect on narrative hooks, it's just a way of getting you into the story, of starting the story in a way that your readers and your teacher will be interested and engaged. And one way of remembering it is DAD, D-A-D, description. It could be description of the setting or the character or the feeling or the mood. Action, so something happens, maybe a mysterious happening, and dialogue or speech. So description could be something like somewhere in the pitch black darkness of night, someone was screaming, but sitting in their small house in the middle of nowhere, Maddie and her mum heard nothing. So you've got the description of the screaming, but the fact that these people are unaware, you're hooking us into the reader. You're hooking the reader into the story because we're wondering what's happening. You could also have some kind of action. You jump straight into it without giving the background. Maddie heard a scream. She ran out of the front door into the night. She peered into the darkness, and in the distance she could make out a dark shape. It was moving. It was coming towards her, and it was moving fast. So you can see that as a narrative hook. That's an exciting plot line because you start off, there's so much action. Or you could use dialogue or speech. "What was that?" said Maddie, sitting bolt upright. "I didn't hear anything," said her mother, wandering over to the window and peering into the darkness. So you can see that they're having this conversation. It's engaging for us. The narrative hook is getting the reader involved. Other aspects of making your plot line exciting is including conflict. Now, here are 6 main types of conflict that you could use in a story. You could have personal conflict. So a boss is making a demand, or a family member is being annoying, or there's someone burgling the house. You could have something supernatural, maybe an apparition or some premonition, a dream that gives a sense of what's going to happen. You could have some kind of animal conflict, that birds or a bear or snake or pets somehow are involved in the story, creating conflict and problems. You could have some kind of natural environment conflict. We've got storm or a flood, a virus, an earthquake. Something is happening in the environment that creates a problem for the character. You can have a technological conflict. So maybe the lights or the phone or transportation stops working. Or you could have conflict within themselves. So interpersonal or internal conflict where there's guilt or love, jealousy and revenge. So all of these aspects of conflict make the storyline exciting because this is a problem, an issue, a complication that the character has to overcome and find clever ways of defeating or overcoming or pleasing the person, people, the supernatural, animals, technology, environment, or the feelings within themselves. Finally, to make an exciting storyline, you could include a difficult decision or a difficult moral dilemma, otherwise known as a critical choice. So, for example, is someone going to be sensible or they're going to be vain? So it's photo day at school. Are they going to spend hours and hours on their appearance, or are they going to go in looking normal? Maybe by spending hours and hours on their appearance, they miss the bus, and then effectively they miss the story. So you're increasing the interest by giving a critical choice. You could also have a choice of peace versus revenge. Perhaps the younger sibling is being bullied and the character has to decide whether they're going to stand up to the bully, which is a younger child, or whether they are, by standing up to the bully, they're going to make things worse for themselves and for their younger brother or sister. There could be this idea of trust versus suspicion. Maybe 2 friends are in a restaurant. As one goes to the toilet and leaves the phone, are they going to look at the other friend's messages? What problems could be caused by checking those messages? And then maybe something like selflessness versus selfishness. Perhaps someone's agreed to help, to volunteer, but the same day they're given a paid job. Will they stick to a prior commitment of help helping. So those kind of critical choices and difficult moral dilemmas drive storylines. They make them exciting and interesting. So if you're stuck with writing your story, think about your narrative hook using dad, description, action, or dialogue to hook the reader in. Think about all the problems and conflicts and complications that you can add, and think about using a moral dilemma to add that critical choice to make your storyline exciting. I hope that's helped you. Thank you for joining me, and goodbye.